Open spaces, unlimited beauty, infinite possibilities. Africa opens its doors to you, inviting you to cross borders with ease as you explore the unique landscapes of 7 diverse trans-frontier conservation areas across 9 southern African countries.
A trans-frontier conservation area is a conservation area that straddles one or more countries.
And the countries have agreed to work together in managing the resources that are found in those areas, regardless of international boundaries.
Few things are more glorious than to be in the presence of such magnificent beauty. The splendor of all time churns in waves, rises in swamps, stretches out onto the savannah and lies belly up beneath the sun. Every animal is beautiful, but to see so many together is awe-inspiring.
The TFAs, I can say, it accommodates almost any visitor.
From the camping all the way through to the fully inclusive luxury experience.
Time spent in the wild is liberating. Travel slowly. Take time to observe all that's around you, and you will be inspired for years to come.
What is most exciting for me is cross-border trails, which allows the nationals of the involved countries to do safari walks from one end of their country to another end of another country without having to do the clearing of the immigration.
Beyond borders, there's much more to explore.
Welcome to Ilembe, the investment destination of choice. Situated on the east coast of South Africa in the exotic kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal, Ilembe is a district of scenic splendor, strategically located between Africa's 2 busiest ports, Durban and Richards Bay. The main provincial development corridor, the N2 National Highway, runs from Durban through Ilembe to Richards Bay, Swaziland and Mozambique. The close location of the new King Shaka Airport and Dube Trade Port makes the Ilembe district the gateway to Africa and the world. 3 distinct development zones exist: the coastal strip with residential and tourism components, the inland corridor influenced by the existence of major commercial agricultural activities, and the rich rural hinterland. A magnificent coastline and close proximity to Big 5 game reserves and unique natural treasures, including 2 World Heritage Sites, make Ilembe a holiday hotspot and the jewel of the Zulu Kingdom. There is exciting potential for growth in cultural, heritage, beach and nature-based tourism. Ilembe is the praise name for King Shaka, and tourism potential around the mighty leader of the Zulu nation is considerable. The King Shaka Heritage Route offers geographically diverse commercial opportunities and has the potential to increase visitor numbers to the hinterland areas. Day tours to the hinterland are required, and the establishment of a destination management and operating environment for cultural tourism within Ilembe is vital. There is a wealth of talent amongst local artists and a good supply of natural resources which could lead to the establishment of art and craft centres for both local and international markets. Demand for tourist accommodation is great, and there are several luxury options offering superb facilities and world-class service. An opportunity exists for the development of a lodge in the immediate vicinity of the KwaShushu Hot Springs in Mapumulo. The manufacturing sector comprises heavy industries such as sugar and paper mills. The Compensation Velito area north of the airport has been identified as a likely economic opportunity zone. Business and manufacturing opportunities are presented in the development of Ndwedwe village, Ezindlovini and Emona. There are several high-quality mini-factories and standalone factory warehouse developments for lease or purchase. Isitebe Industrial Estate is an effective manufacturing hub, offering cost-effective production space to prospective investors, and opportunities exist for the development of a second phase. Rapid growth and an influx of low and high-income groups in the region is creating exciting new opportunities and markets to complement the variety of lifestyles. Several developments and eco-estates illustrate the potential in the region for high-end residential accommodation and entertainment. In addition, there is plenty of office space for rent in and around Belito. Opportunities exist for strip malls in regions such as Mapumulo and Ndwedwe, anchored by low-cost and budget stores.
Joining me now from our Cape Town studio is Mark Lieven-Marken, and he's from the Frontier Market Network. Mark, thank you so much for making the time to chat to us today. Certainly seems like there is a market for tourism investment in South Africa. How exactly are you involved in this?
Well, I represent Frontier Market Network, and we are Africa's largest investment and deal-making platform. We have a pool of investors worldwide, predominantly from America, Europe, and Asia. And we provide a platform for tourism investment projects as well as many other sectors, and flow those through to the international investment arena.
Let's talk about sustainable tourism just for a little bit, Mark. I mean, to a large extent, this is about attracting customers as well as investors. From where you stand, is this more about raising social consciousness, or is it just something that makes good business sense?
I think it's a little bit of both. It would be insidious to say it's one or the other. But you know, from a business perspective, Africa right now is providing fantastic returns for investors. If you look at the market recently from 2009, since the economic crisis, we've had a jump in arrivals of 8%. So, as an investment scenario, if you were to invest, say, $250,000 into the tourism sector, it would provide something in the region of 140 jobs. And if you took that same amount of money and you invested it in the agricultural sector, you would be 40% down from that figure, and mining 50% down from that figure. So certainly is a preeminent sector, and is certainly attracting a lot of investment.
Let's look at your relationship with Boundless. Would you say that this is a case in point of a really strong and effective public-private partnership at play?
It most certainly is. Just a bit of background for the viewers. Boundless is an initiative led by the South African Department of Environmental Affairs, encompassing 9 contiguous countries in Southern Africa, to showcase some pristine tourist attractions, and furthermore to generate investment into those trans-frontier conservation areas that they've created, allowing tourists to move into areas without the hassle of having visas to move from one country to the next, and enjoy some of the most beautiful parts of the world. In Southern Africa, some of the trans-frontier conservation areas include the Okavango Delta, the Fish River Canyon, and Victoria Falls. And it doesn't just encompass the destination, it's about nature, community and culture all in one, so you get a complete experience. So basically we've been working with Boundless for the last 3 years in elevating the level of visibility that these tourism investment opportunities have, and attracting investors from all over the world into some of the best opportunities that they can find on the planet. Bearing in mind we have quite a competitive environment. South Africa alone, and Southern Africa, competes against Asia quite heavily as far as arrivals go.
I want to jump in. Let me jump in with on that point of international investment opportunities. Of course, we've also seen the Marriott Group showing quite a lot of interest towards the Protea Group in terms of potential acquisitions there. How should we be leveraging and making the most of the international appetite for tourism investment in South Africa at this time?
Well, South Africa has a very, very mature tourism industry, so it's not really about creating it, it's about sustaining it. I think we can take a couple of pages out of the successful books of areas like Cancun in Mexico, which 30 years ago was just a barren peninsula, and if we look at it now, they employ something like 30% of the population's actively involved in the tourism sector. So what we can do with investment models can be clearly played against the backdrop of the successful countries in Central America. In Thailand, they employ about 35% of their population in tourism. So I think if we can take pages out of the book of the successful countries and apply those to an enabling model in South Africa, we can go a long way to sustaining what we've already created, a very, very rewarding and mature market, but still with a lot of potential.
Of course, Mark, as you speak of South Africa and the fact that this is a rather developed tourism market, one would then assume that it's more about diversifying the product and service offering in South Africa to get really good returns. Are you seeing this trend coming through?
Most certainly. I mean, across all sectors we do very, very well. Incentive travel, the high-end tourist, where we are benchmarked against world-class travel establishments. But just as an example, the opportunity to grow certain sectors is enormous. In 2010, South Africa was voted as the best golf tourism destination on the planet. But we only have 1% of that market. So it just shows how much potential there actually is and how we can actually grow that sector. The 1% equates to about 10,000 travellers just for the sole purpose of playing golf to the Western Cape alone. So if we motivate destination travel by sector, we will be kind of moving in the right direction. And we have to really up our game and be a lot more aggressive because we're up against Asia, which is now taking a big slice of the tourism market. What tourists are looking for is most certainly the quality of the experience and value for money. Since the economic meltdown, we've lost a lot of the market share that we had from traditional markets, but fortunately the emerging middle classes in Africa have helped sustain growth, as well as the emerging middle classes in India and the East have now created a whole new set of tourists that are arriving.
Mark, thank you so much for those insights. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but definitely a conversation that we will be picking up with you in the near future. Of course, we're talking to Mark Lievenmark from Frontier Market Network.